Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Season 3 of the Rule 34 podcast. I'm Jack, joined by
Dominic Castillo.
And Giovanni.
Alright, so we are back. I think it's only been a week. How have you guys been? I know there's been a lot that has occurred and a lot that is going to occur in the next week, but how have you guys been? And catch the audience up to date a bit on what's been happening with all of us, or at least with you guys.
Yeah, things have been going on, like a good amount of things. Dodger season has come upon us, so work has been a little bit wonky lately. This entire week, there was pretty much no work except for Monday. For me, that is. For this entire week, it's practically our little spring break, so no one works. Except for a couple of WWE fights, but aside from that, the majority of us who are low seniority is going to just stay home and rest for a bit. Gio and I, on the other hand, have finally begun our little adventure at going to the gym. And so we have began. We first started out with a couple of personal trainers who are friends of Gio. And he taught us some very good tips and tricks on proper form and, staying upright, every time when possible so as to not damage our back or our shoulder or our arms. Today I went alone because, I guess time constraints and stuff. I did a bit of leg workout and stuff like that, so life is okay. Other than that, nothing much else has been going on as of lately. There's a lot of things going on around the world. We'll talk about that later. I myself, I've also completely redesigned not completely, but I've completely cleaned out my bedroom. So I used to have this very large desk, and it was taking up a large amount of space. Not only that, it was slightly dangerous in and of itself because part of the legs would cover up the emergency there's an emergency lock where I can open up the window, to break it open in case of an emergency. And so health inspectors came around and they noticed that, so we completely removed my entire desk. My desk is not there anymore. I instead decided to go buy some very large bookshelves. And now I can place my figures up there, and it looks pretty cool. And, I finally got some free space, and I decided to give my desk up to my brother. So now he has a larger space to work with for his PC and all that stuff. Nothing much else has been going on as of lately. I've also finally was able to finish up little bits here and there. New battery for my little room. So there's no more problem with the timing belt. There should be no more crackling of the sound speakers whenever we turn it up too high. And it's been pretty. Oh, also, I got my dentist appointment yesterday, and I finally got some new wires and reinforced springs for this. There's this one area in my teeth that needs a spring. So, if I also no more pokey wires too. So we're all Gucci up in here. Yeah, man, it's been pretty pog.
Yeah, man.
How about you, Gio?
I've been sick as a dog the entire week. I'm lucky kind of. I'm starting to get fed up with work. It's like having to go to school, and I hate it. Every time I'm I have to work 5 days this week, and then the next week I'm off. I'm thank God, man. I can't do this stuff anymore. It's not that I hate the job; it's just so goddamn repetitive. It's literally like school. So yeah, I'm happy that I got a week off from the job. As Dom said, we've been going to the gym. We started going to the gym. It was going pretty well until I got sick. And then I was pretty much bedridden for the rest of the week. But I really want to get back into it because I've always been kind of obsessed with feeling sore. It's just like one of the best feelings in my opinion because you could feel all the hard work that you did. It's great, man. It's great. Besides that, we've been playing a lot of Overwatch lately. We've been getting back into it, which is nice because it's always fun playing with the boys. And yesterday's session was pretty. It was probably the worst one we've ever had because even if we did everything right, we would still lose. Like it would just be like the most random thing that just causes us to lose the match, and it was so frustrating. But at the same time, it was really fun for me because I don't know, everybody was getting like hyped up, or not. Jack wasn't getting hyped up, but me and Jose we were getting hyped up, and it was fun. But yeah, it's pretty. It's a pretty fun game, not gonna lie. But yeah. But besides that, next week on Monday, I'm working one of the WWE events. I don't know which one because I know there's going to be more. Is it just WrestleMania or is there like other stuff too?
Well, WrestleMania is Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, so I'm working whatever Monday is.
Probably Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, which apparently, according to my brother, is like really, it's like the thing to look forward to.
Oh yeah, the night after WrestleMania.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be there, confused, watching grown men fling each other again. But yeah, that's pretty much it. What about you, Jack? What's popping, brother?
All right. Well, first off, I just want to continue to add to Gio's point about yesterday. Yes, I have to agree that was probably one of the absolute worst Overwatch sessions I've probably ever had in the history of playing Overwatch, and I've been playing since 2016. So, you know, it's that bad when, you know, I don't know. I wasn't even like talking properly during the majority of it. I was just so out of it by that point. I was like, this is so dumb. Because like I don't know, man. I don't know what was going on yesterday. I usually know to expect a lot of what happened yesterday in the rank up game, you know, because we were playing comp, and you know, I think it's like a thing that like Blizzard just manually does, where like if you're on that one last game that you need to either see if you rank up or rank down, they make it extremely difficult so that, you know, they can truly see if you want to, or like if you're deserving of ranking up or down, you know. Or sometimes I feel like they just purposely want to rank people down just to annoy them. But I usually come to expect that with the rank up game. The issue of yesterday was none of us were even close to our rank up game. We were just trying to get games in to begin to rank up, and we were just getting, well, no, let's correct it. And no, this isn't copium. It wasn't us that was the problem yesterday. We were doing absolutely fine. For whatever reason, the game decides it wants to stick us with a bunch of teammates that don't know what they're doing half the time. Like, I genuinely couldn't believe some of the teammates we were getting and some of the plays they were making. And not only that, some of the people we were going up against were just some of the absolute worst kind of players that you ever just never want to go against. Like, we were going up against a Moira who had more damage than healing for the enemy team, and it was so annoying because she would just constantly keep coming into the back lines, and, you know, none of our DPS are doing anything, so I'm just constantly getting picked off as support because it's not like I can really do much when you get a Moira coming in behind you and you have, you know, a Brig right in your face and the tank is also coming after you, you know. And it was so annoying. Like, by the end of that game, I think that Moira had like 9k damage and only like 2k healing. And this was a game that went into overtime both times on both sides. So I don't know. I don't know what was up with yesterday, but we got some of the worst games imaginable. And the last game was the worst part of it all. I still can't believe it. We were on Nubani. We literally stopped them because it went to overtime. They didn't even capture the first point. we should have automatically gotten the victory for stopping them at that point. But the game was like, no, you have to go and attack and try and get this. Okay, we got like 3.5 minutes to try and do this. Literally couldn't get it done, and it ends in a draw. I couldn't believe it. Literally nothing. And of course, why does it happen? Because, since they didn't get the point, what do they want to do now? They're going to run Torbjorn and Symmetra. I hate Overwatch players with a passion because they just know how the game works, you know? Oh, you want to hold out on defense and get the win in overtime? Oh, yeah, just run two of the most stupidest characters in the game that honestly shouldn't have even been in the game at all. It's annoying to me that they've been in the game for so long. When you look at their kits, and it's just like, nothing about it makes sense for an FPS game like Overwatch. Like, why is there a character who can just sit back and let a turret do all the work and not do anything all game except have to place the turret back down when it gets destroyed? You know, it's annoying to me. I really despise that character and, well, characters. Like, they're the two I've had the issue with the most since this game's been out. Like, they just... And it's funny because they've constantly, like, tried to rework, especially, like, some Metro to make her work. And it's like, nothing ever works. Like, it's just so annoying to have to play against her or Torbjorn because it's like, it almost takes, like, zero skill with those characters.
Especially on that map, or like on where the CP is. It's so annoying because there's like 3 different ledges that they could like split off on. It's like you try to like target the Torb, but then you have the 2 other ledges focusing you. You focus one, and then you just have the Torb with his turret looking at you. And it is literally like if you try to go underneath, you're screwed. If you try to go up the stairs, you can't because they have a BAP with his immortality shield thing and a Sigma who just throws his rocks into the room and does damage regardless if he's actually aiming or not. I don't know. It's just that map was really bad. But yeah, like I was gonna say, like no matter what we did, like if Jose went to tank because the tank wasn't bad, we would get a really bad DPS or another really bad support. If he went DPS with me, we would get a bad tank, bad support. If he went support, we would get a bad DPS and a bad tank. Like I don't think in the entire day we got one solid player on our team.
I don't even think we got a single win.
No, we played for like 3 hours. I was still a 0 out of 5. I was completely baffled, dude. And then when we played with Diego later on, it went a little bit better. Like we got some wins, but like not gonna lie, Jack, it would have been so much easier if we had like you there, because we would have had a full 5 stack with 2 good supports, and then it would have been so much easier. Because we always get that one Mercy player that just doesn't do it right. It's like, I don't know. And it's always like when you check their profile, they have like 10 minutes on her. And like, why are you playing support, bro? Play what you want.
Who was that guy that we looked at his profile and he only, like, I think he was playing Reinhardt and he only had like 10 minutes on him?
Oh, he had 4 minutes on Winston.
Oh,
that's his entire tank experience, and he's been playing since Overwatch 1, bro. He had Overwatch Season 35 rank stats, and he had 4 minutes on Winston. And that day, when we decided to play, he chose to, I'm going to play tank today.
And I'm going to play Winston.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely some of the worst teammates we've ever gotten. Oh, man. I still can't believe it. And then, other than Overwatch, which, you know, all this complaining, yeah, I'm still going to be there for Season 4 in like 2 weeks. Other than Overwatch, along with that, because I don't think the listening audience knows, last week, not last week, it was actually 2 weeks ago now, I got COVID on Friday. I tested positive for it, and it took me a whole week to get over it, which is why we didn't record last week, and I didn't even record anything for the other like section of the podcast. I didn't record anything yesterday or all of last week because I was just trying to get full in recovery mode, you know. But it gave me a lot of time to really work on different things, you know. Like I was obviously played with the boys. A new game came out, and I've just been setting all that up and have barely begun playing it because it takes a lot to set up, at least for the way I do it. And then I had a lot of time for writing, even though a lot of times it was like just a struggle to sit there and like write some of these scripts I've been writing. But there was one where it's like I just couldn't sleep at night, so I literally got up. It was like 3-4 in the morning, and I just went and started writing. And by the time I finished it, it was like, I want to say 7, and I was just like, all right, I'm going to bed. And I knocked out until, I want to say like 11 or 12 in the morning. So like I got some sleep, but it obviously wasn't the best. But like I just couldn't sleep that night, and I was like, screw it, let's do what I do best. Let me just write until I feel like I'm tired, and that's what I did. I'm excited for later today because opening day, MLB is back. Get to watch the Phillies, even though Reese Hoskins got injured in spring training. So don't know what to really expect out of my team, but I'm going to watch the first game and then kind of come up with my thoughts for what I expect for the rest of the season. But should be fun nonetheless. It's going to be difficult to top the highs of last season. Even with that World Series loss, it was just such a crazy experience to have watching all that go down. And then obviously WrestleMania is this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Going to be watching that. Going to be in all honesty, I have, what's the way I want to put this? I'm going to take the approach my dad does with a lot of movies nowadays, and I'm going to say I'm going in with virtually no expectations because the WWE is a company that is known for letting their fans down. And I know that's kind of a controversial opinion, but I don't know. In my personal experience, they've let me down enough that like I really don't go in with any expectations. I just go in wanting to see good wrestling, and even then a lot of times I'm let down. But it's the biggest card of the year, so I shouldn't be let down. And funny enough, I'm most excited for tomorrow, which is the Ring of Honor pay-per-view, which I got tickets for. I'm going with my brother, my dad. Dom is going, and still waiting to see what my other friend says, but should be a fun time. It's going to be a crazy event. The card that was put together for it is absolutely insane. I am super excited to go. And then yeah, that's all like currently. There's still a lot of stuff like not in the works, but like there's a lot of stuff to still look forward towards, but it's like later down the line. Like Gio and I, we got tickets to go see Twice at the SoFi Stadium. That's going to be a fun experience. And yeah, that's pretty much all that's been going on with me. A lot of stuff to catch people up on, but yeah, a lot of fun stuff. But what's it called? Speaking of a lot of stuff going down and potential stuff happening like in the future, Dom, I'll turn it to you with something and like a topic that you brought up that I thought was very interesting, especially given a lot of the recent trends on social media that involved it. But let the audience know.
All right. So as of recently, a lot of companies have been incorporating billions of dollars, namely Microsoft, Google, and other likes, into the beauty and the terror and the chaos of artificial intelligence, AI. We have seen many different ways these companies have incorporated AI into different things. And as of recently, we have seen artificial intelligence dig deep into the world of art and music and, story writing, storyboards, even into creating fictional videos and such as that. However, there has been a lot of controversy lately upon such artificial intelligence, where it's gotten to the point where there's even been attempts to try to get AI to become automated lawyers for people, so they could speed up the justice system when it comes to trials and such. Because having a lawyer costs a lot of money, especially if you're dealing with bigger cases. And as such, as of recently, there has been a lot of pushing forward for artificial intelligence, namely the first one of its kind. Well, not the first one, but namely a mainstream artificial intelligence called ChatGPT. That one, as of recently, has been upgraded from its third generation to now its fourth generation, which has namely been able to actually achieve the lawyer bar exam, going above an 80%, above an 80% of average of how would you say of a score, beating out many human, people, many human minds per se. And so it comes to show, and mind you, the lawyer bar exam isn't just how would you say where it's all mathematics, where the computer can easily compute out the fastest possible and quickest answer. The bar exam consists mainly of knowing the law and knowing moral ethics. And so when it comes to the point where a bot is able to understand moral ethics is when we should get a little bit scared. The creators of ChatGPT 4 has also, the developers themselves are also slightly scared of what they created, as ChatGPT 4 is now able to create song lyrics in the style of other artists and creators, which further develops into the issue of how humans can recreate the voices of the deceased. So, for example, Michael Jackson, right? Michael Jackson, there has been actually some AI converted songs in the style of the voice for Michael Jackson, and it sounds really well and really similar to the point where, without context, listening just blindly, which is a bit ironic, it actually pretty much sounds like Michael Jackson, which only further develops into, I guess, this uncanny valley of how we could use such technology in the future. Not only that, students through personal experience and through the personal experience of other schools, ChatGPT, and also with the new developments of Microsoft Bing AI and Google Bard, students themselves are using ChatGPT to cheat on exams, because these things can actually write out essays. Not only that, but also answer test questions, whether it be through mathematics, science, with chemistry and biology and such as that, which only further develops into a whole different category of questioning of whether we should use AI for official reasons, as some how would you say it? Some bits of AI have been using plugins. So ChatGPT 4 has been using like some sort of a secret plugin that nobody knows about. However, it basically understands and capitalizes on medical data based off scientific articles and such as that. So now it's able to create diagnoses based off what you tell it. And now accurate diagnosis, not just what you just Google down and it gives you an over-exaggerated diagnosis of let's say I have a cough and oh no, now you have cancer or something like that. It actually gives you a serious laid out plan of how you could treat yourself or have a doctor treat you or such as that. There have been limitations. However, people have been able to go around those limitations through jailbreaking it. And it's gotten to the point where, this develops into another huge rabbit hole where now people are using it for malicious reasons, such as that, where you could trick the artificial intelligence into creating malware, to steal information from other people. So you can see how such power using AI can develop into even worse, reasonings that people can use. Aside from this, AI in and of itself has also been proven to somewhat fool human beings. As of recently, in the world of artificial art, several digital paintings using AI have been actually be able to pass through and actually achieve awards and such as that, with people thinking it's a legit artificial. I mean, a legit
real artist,
human artist that they made. But no, it was just someone just literally just typed out a paragraph full of just descriptions. The digital AI creates the art. They turn it into the competition. I forgot which competition it was, but they implemented into it, and they won. Imagine that. While other people who are trying their best with the talent, their skill that they've probably wrought up for many years, just to lose out, just to somebody just to type out a simple phrase on their computer and literally win, a prize. And they didn't know until like weeks later, until they found out that it has specific metadata within the art that shows that it was actually made by an AI, not a real human being. So we can see that this
the solution.
Well, you wouldn't know at first hand because it's digital at the end of the day.
Now that they know how to tell if it was made by an AI, I have everything that's submitted tested for the whatever meta files proves that it was made by an AI, and then you're fine. The competition's fine. It's not like, oh shit, what are we gonna do? Oh my bad. It's like, what are we gonna do now? Like, you literally have a solution to detect it.
And guess what, Giovanni? People have been able to jailbreak ChatGPT 4 so as to make sure that their art doesn't look or doesn't have any data proving that it is AI made.
Well, then at that point, what you could do is you see how on Twitter, when those artists post like a time lapse of their creation, that have the fucking do I keep cursing? Have the people that are submitting art make a time lapse that shows evidence that it was made over time and not just randomly spawned in.
As I would love to, as much as I would love to hear that,
I can finally breathe.
There could, considering the advancements and improvements of art. There can literally be a fake time lapse of said art.
Well, then maybe we should just start making art, man. Let's move on to something else. Who needs art, anyways?
Okay. Continuing the area of the art side, anime in and of itself has also been taking quite a beating, as a lot of artists are expressing their sentiments over the idea that digital stuff can beat out their own art and that they themselves don't even have to do anything anymore. So, for example, there's this one specific content creator who, specializes in the you-know-what of our title name. Our podcast name. And they have been actually suspected of using digital AI. However, he keeps on denying it, saying no, he does it legit. However, many people have actually come out to find out that a lot of his artworks are specifically missing digits of the fingers. And now, normally, you're not going to draw only 4 fingers on a hand, right? So, and this particular artist doesn't previously, before the AI stuff happened, didn't use 4 digits of finger, always using 5 as a normal human being. And so they were outed out for it. And
that's been the common thing with AI, is that like when it comes to at least like the art side, they've noticed that for whatever reason it can't get fingers right. Like it always looks messed up, and so again, like to try and cover it up, what you see, like depending on what type of like image it is, whether it's like portrait or whatever, like if it's featuring like some sort of person, they find a way to crop it so that the hands aren't showing. So a lot of times, they'll make it that it's only like from the waist up, or like that the hands aren't being visibly shown and all that, because that's like, I've seen from a lot of people, like that's the way you distinctly are able to tell, if it's AI or not. It's because for whatever reason, none of the AI bots can just get fingers right.
Is this the ChatGPT thing? Is it free access kind of thing, or do you have to pay money for it?
There's a waitlist you have to join. However, there are some GitHub repositories that have specific jailbreaks, so you could throw in your own code and to, how would I say this? I guess have the AI work in your favor in whatever way you want. So either in music creation, art creation, maybe you want to develop a storyboard for a movie. It's free, but you have to have a bit of knowledge of the code so as to know what you want it to do. There are mainstream versions, so Microsoft Bing AI, as I mentioned, Google Bard, ChatGPT 3 is completely free to the public. You just gotta, I guess, sign up for a waitlist for a bit, wait for a second. You'll get in eventually, and then you could type away whatever you like.
Is it like once you're in forever, or
Yeah,
just
until they eventually close the website, you're in forever. Yeah.
Mm. And the whole sort of like main point of like this topic is kind of just to discuss like I don't really know how much you can weigh in on like the pros of it, but like for the most part, at least from what I've seen with online discussion, it's all just been like, what are the cons of like AI, Because like the pros that like I've seen, the pros that I've seen people like bring up about it is just simply like, like, oh, it can be used like in a funny way, like one of the trends of like last month, I think it was, or like February, was like, they were using AI to make it seem like all these different presidents were talking, like Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Barack Obama. They were doing memes like that, and making it seem like they were like talking to each other, like playing Overwatch or playing Minecraft. Like that was like a big trend, but like I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird thing because a lot of people, they bring up the cons, but you don't really see people utilizing AI in those ways unless you see the way, like, if you've done your research like Dom has, you see the way that they're using it in the form of abuse, or like, in the case of like the art world, people being disingenuous, with the fact that, that they're not admitting that, it's not, I don't think it's too much of a wild statement to say that AI art isn't like, it shouldn't be considered actual art, because it's not someone actually putting in the effort to do it, It's all computer based, and even then, the computer isn't even doing the art itself. All it is compiling together a ton of images based off of the prompt you give it, So in a sense, it's stealing art from all these other artists who actually put in the work to make this art,
Yeah.
So like, continue.
In my opinion, one of the biggest cons of this is that it's just going to contribute more into this new culture that's becoming a thing of not wanting to do hard work and getting all, like, reaping all the benefits from it, like not working, but somehow you're a millionaire. It's just going to continue adding to that culture of making people even lazier. Because I told Dom and I, we've had this discussion before at work when it comes to like video editing. He's like, "Oh, why don't you just have an AI do it?" But, mechanically, yes, it would save me a lot of time, but like overall, it's not going to benefit me at all because I'm having a machine do it for me. I'm learning nothing. And then when, like, let's say I get a job as an editor, and they're like, "All right, we need you to do this." I'm like, "Oh yeah, let me just put it in my head." Like, "Oh, you can't do that. We don't want that." Then I'm screwed. My entire thing was based on a machine, and now that I don't have the machine, I have nothing to back that up. So yeah, that's the biggest con, making people lazier.
And not only that, sorry, continue.
No, go ahead. Because I was just gonna say it's going to contribute. The whole, like, being able to replicate voices, it's cool, but it's also kind of it could be easily used in a malicious way. Yeah. Seeing how there's a whole, like, the whole 2020 election was just a whole, like, rap storm of fake news. Just imagine during the next election, there's going to be audio tapes of whatever candidate saying this and that, and it's going to be fake, but then there's going to be a whole mass of people who actually think it's true, and it's just going to influence a bunch of dumb people even more. It's not. Oh, dude, I really hope that doesn't happen. Yeah, they should close ChatGPT during that period.
Yeah, I was gonna say the exact same thing that along with the whole culture of like like essentially trying to make things easier, it's like it also kind of adds to that culture of like or like the current culture that we're seeing of like it's justified in a way, but paranoia, where like so many people are worried about all these different things happening, and it's like this only adds to it because imagine now you have to worry about like someone going out of their way to use AI to like manipulate, and obviously there's ways to tell. Like the only reason why the more like famous people work, like Kanye, Michael Jackson, the presidents, that obviously works because those people are in, they're like, there's more access to their voices, their music, their interviews, all the times they've been on television and, done these interviews and done these, videos themselves, all this stuff. It's like, it's out there, so it's easier for these AIs to replicate their voice. So obviously, like, common people don't have to worry too much about it because even if they have, like, videos of your voice and stuff and recordings of your voice, I don't think it would be enough to be able to replicate it as well as we're seeing with more popular figures. But that still doesn't eliminate the fact that people are going to be scared and paranoid nonetheless that, someone could easily make some audio clip of them and, because whoever they show it to doesn't know about AI, they just fully believe in it, and just think, oh, it sounds wonky because, they were recording it out of their pocket or something, it's like it doesn't stop people from believing into certain fake things like this. And then when it comes to AI images, we've seen how well people are able to, themselves Photoshop, but then like AI has done somewhat of a good job of like, creating these images. So it's like, who knows, you could end up seeing like a fake image. I mean, we already struggle enough with fake news and fake images, but like imagine now as people perfect AI, it's like it's gonna get to a point where it's like you aren't gonna be able to tell what's real and fake at some point, because sometimes it gets it well, like I've seen a couple of AI images where it's like, man, that's pretty spot on, and again, the one thing they always crop out is the hands. I don't know what it is. I literally saw someone type into one of these AI generators like, show me an image of a hand, and like it gave it like 10 images and all the hands were messed up. So I don't know what that is, what's up with that. And then oh gosh, there was one more thing I was going to say. Oh, going back to the thing that you were bringing up about editing, another issue with this whole AI thing and people using it to take shortcuts and all that is that I think it's the reason why we won't see more of it, and that's because like how Gio said, obviously when you come to need these skills and you don't have them because you were using AI, it's gonna hurt you. But I think the other thing too is that you obviously lose a sense of uniqueness.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you use this unique sort of touch, like in the sense of editing. Every editor has their own sort of unique editing style, And if you're just going
personality when it comes to editing, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, so you're going to end up losing that if you're just solely using this AI stuff. Like, you're not going to get certain unique touches that, like, editors have, Like, one editor could have, like, a signature shot that he always does when editing his videos, or he has a signature sort of lighting style that he has, And AI is not going to be able to capture that. Like, we've seen with AI art, it's like, yeah, it's somewhat like is able to replicate things, but a lot of times it's like, I almost want to say like it looks the same in a sense, like it doesn't have its own unique style and like how Gio said, personality to it, And it's like the same thing with all sort of formats that AI can be used for. Like when it comes to writing, like let's say for me, you guys know like I like writing up, especially like scripts for videos and all that. Sure, I can easily type into an AI, write me a script about this and that, but like it's going to be like, bare bones, very simplistic. It's not going to have any of the stuff that's unique to, especially like for my example, unique to my writing styles. Like
it's just going to be like a dump of information of what happened there in the game.
Yeah, it's not going to be.
There's nothing like. There's no opinion, just information, facts.
Yeah, And what's it called? Yeah, I don't know. A part of me has a feeling that AI isn't going to grow more, you know, in the sense of like, I feel like it isn't going to grow into different industries, you know? Like, people are going to realize its faults and its limitations, at least in its current standpoint. And plus, you know, even though we're always hearing about automated machines taking over jobs, it's like, at the end of the day, I think people are smart enough to realize just how beneficial it is with all these different jobs to actually have, like, a person there, you know?
Mm.
Like, for example, when you go to the movies, yeah, sure, it's pretty easy to have to go up and just go to that machine, pick your seats, pay, and not have to interact with people, you know? But at the same time, it's also easier when you need help, you know, to have someone there to speak to who knows the ins and outs of, like, a movie theater, you know? Like, if I'm trying to get a refund, it's much easier to get a refund and explain to the person. Like, for example, here's the example I'll give. So on last Friday, when I finally got cleared from COVID, I was supposed to go with 2 friends and my brother to go see John Wick. So I bought 4 tickets. Two of my 2 friends ended up canceling on me. So I had to go to the movie. Me and my brother still decided, you know, let's just go, the 2 of us. We went to go see Bullet Train with each other. Let's go see John Wick with each other. So we go, and they have someone there, you know, in case people need help. But they're like, oh, just use the machines. But we were like, oh no, we need help. And, you know, it's much easier to explain to a person and have them do the transaction that I needed to have done than to try and figure it out on a machine, you know, because what I needed done was, I told him, can I get these 4 tickets refunded, and then can I buy, you know, 2 tickets to the same showing, because this time I want to use my dad's, like, AMC membership to get, like, points and potentially a discount, you know? So I was like, I need this refund, and then I also want to buy the tickets back. I could have easily gotten refunds earlier, but the thing was, like, the refund only lets you refund all of them in a sense, you know?
Uh-huh.
Like when it comes to using that, like, online stuff, it doesn't give you the option, like, to be like, oh, I only want to refund 2 of these tickets. Like, no, you have to refund all of them and then have to purchase back whatever tickets you wanted, you know? Like, they don't, a lot of these places, or like some of them do, so I don't know why AMC's behind it, but like, it doesn't give you the option to refund only like 1 ticket, 2 tickets, you know, however many tickets you need a refund while keeping the one you still need, you know? So
Right.
that's why I think, you know, AI is kind of limited. And I think people are going to realize, you know, that, like, as fun of a thing it is to use, like, jokingly or like even just casually, I don't think it's ever going to get to a point where people prefer it over a real human artist, editor, you know, voice actor, even animator, whatever it is. There's a minute 45 left, so if you guys have any final thoughts, I'll leave it to you. Sorry for speaking so much.
Oof. Yeah. No, I ain't got much else. Life's crazy, man. Pog.
Yeah, life is pretty crazy. Any final thoughts from you, Gio?
I was gonna say that it's just going to be another way to bully people, like online creators especially, by just being like very malicious and like making voice recordings using their voice, and then they're like hating on themselves, like, oh, I'm so fat, blah blah blah. Imagine like you're chilling on stream and then someone just starts playing that.
Yeah,
Nah, bro. It's not good for the world.
yeah, definitely agree with that. I don't think it has any other like benefits, you know. Like it's funny to sometimes see it used in like memes, like how we said with the presidents playing like Minecraft and stuff. But like once you introduce something like that, it easily falls into the wrong hands, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But with that being said, I've been Jack, joined by
Dominic Castillo.
And Giovanni.
Thank you all for joining for this episode. And as always, if it exists, we have an opinion on it. Thank you, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.